the accuser, the person who accuses, just makes a half statement, or you are corrupt, and then it's the accused, the person who's being accused, that has to go and, prove everything, that he's not corrupt. That's not how it works. In a court of law, it's the person who accuses that has to prove that, not the person who's being accused. So you're absolutely right in saying that you want to find the facts before you make an accusation, because you want to show that as the accuser, you have the facts already. Now it comes to where you get the facts from. First thing I want to say is that in Malaysia, I think a lot of people are not aware of the publicly available information and documents that the public can easily obtain. There are published accounts of all statutory bodies, all government agencies. Even some people say Petronas is shady because it doesn't have an annual report, which isn't true. Petronas produces an annual report which it tables to Parliament every year. So there are a lot of publicly available information that you can obtain quite easily, if not through the websites, but just by going to the library or by going to the ministries, you as a citizen can request for these information. There's a lot of information that you can get from the Auditor General's report, which is publicly available information that you can just pour through. You can go through one by one. There are tender notices. There are e-procurement portals within the Ministry of Finance that you can see all the tenders that have gone out. I had a case the other day where somebody in the opposition accused my ministry of having done something without open tender, and it just required me to show the tender notice to say that it was open tender. End of story, halas, I win the debate, because it was open tender. So there's a lot of misconception to say that there are not a lot of publicly available information. The other thing that you can do is ask tough questions. Ask tough questions. Not accuse, but ask questions. And see if the person wants to answer or not. Then you can draw certain conclusions from that. Third, where do you get information from? Right now, information is leaking like a sieve in the government. Documents, secret documents, documents from meetings, minutes, cabinet minutes, everybody's obtaining them. So, I think this whistleblower culture in Malaysia is probably here to stay. I mean, it's not right that you leak classified documents, but I think in many, many cases, people, when they see something that's not right, or they think is not right, they leak that document. It's okay, because we have absolutely nothing to hide in this case, and we'll address the leaks on an individual basis. And the last thing is, if you have a suspicion, don't make an accusation, but you can make a report. You cannot, if you have a suspicion, for instance, say, that guy's corrupt. Say, you look at a politician, you look at his lifestyle, and say, this guy is living beyond his means. And immediately go and make a press conference and say, I think this guy's corrupt. You can't do that. But, for instance, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, under the Act, under the Anti-Corruption Act, you can report to SPRM that you think this person is living beyond his means. And SPRM can investigate. So there are many avenues open to you before just making an accusation. But make sure, and this is the other thing about integrity that I want to talk about this morning, make sure that you want to expose somebody. You do so with the right facts. I think the worst thing that you can do is falsely accuse somebody of being corrupt, of abusing power. Integrity is not just about ensuring good governance. Integrity is also about not falsely accusing other people. Because integrity is having that moral compass to be honest. If you smear somebody's reputation, if you make allegations without proof, that is not integrity. That is also not integrity. Because you don't have the values of honesty. You are just using sensational accusations and allegations to destroy somebody's reputation. So make sure, if you see something, you're 100% sure. You're 100% sure as far as you know that it is something that you need to report. But if you damage somebody's reputation, if you assassinate somebody's character based on half-truths, based on lies, based on facts that don't exist, then you are also equally culpable of leading a life that is devoid of integrity.